think people know exactly what I'm saying, and they know exactly what the media is trying to do. And I think they're smarter than that. They're not going to be manipulated. So I'm not going to change and become, a vanilla envelope that they can accept. They're never going to accept me because I don't believe in political correctness. So I can twist myself into pretzels trying to fit into their silly little box, or I can be who I am.
All right, that was GOP presidential candidate Dr. Benjamin Carson earlier today, speaking out against the mainstream media, their latest attempts to shut him down, but firing back at the PC police. It's nothing new for Dr. Carson. Remember, back in 2013 at the National Prayer Breakfast, Dr. Carson voiced his distaste in being too politically correct and even criticized President Obama's lackluster policies right to his face. Watch this.
I have discovered, however, in recent years that it's very difficult to speak to a large group of people these days and not offend someone. And people walk around with their feelings on their shoulders waiting for you to say something. Did you hear that? And they can't hear anything else you say. The PC police are out in force at all times. But PC is dangerous. Because you see, this country, one of the founding principles was freedom of thought and freedom of expression. And it muffles people. It puts a muzzle on them, and at the same time keeps people from discussing important issues while the fabric of their society is being changed.
Here to react to all of this, author of the brand new book, by the way, top seller now on Amazon.com, A More Perfect Union, What We, the People, Can Do to Reclaim Our Constitutional Liberties, 2016, presidential candidate Dr. Ben Carson. All right, so you leave the show the other night. You went on The View. Then you're attacked by them. You're attacked, I think, one of the most awful, horrible, vicious racial attacks against any candidate that I've ever heard. Nobody in the media says a word. I would not even repeat it. What has happened since you left?
Well, they've tried to paint me as somebody who is insensitive because, they didn't show the whole question. I was asked the question, what would you do if you were in Oregon and they were pointing a gun at you, asking you about your faith? And I said, what I would do.
You would go after them.
Right. Now, they didn't include the question. They just, added the answer to try to make it seem like I was insensitive.
Yeah, try to make it seem like you were critical of the people that are victims. Listen, I've been training for years now in martial arts. That's my answer. You know what? I understand that other people, you don't know how you're going to necessarily react in a situation, but I train for that moment.
Exactly.
And I know your background and your experience. You're pretty prepared as well.
And also, if we plant the seed in people's minds, because this won't be the last time this occurs.
Right.
And if, there are 10 or 12 people lined up and someone's coming along and pointing a gun at them, saying, what are you? And the rest of them say, you know what? We're not waiting for this.
And they're shooting one at a time, making them stand up. Are you a Christian or not? Then you got into the issue of abortion and the women on The View trying to tell you should applaud Planned Parenthood. Did they watch those videotapes?
Well, obviously they didn't. And, what I'm talking about is a culture of life. And that's what I've spent my life trying to do, provide life. And, we are in a situation right now, and I think the American people are starting to see through this, and I'm incredibly gratified that they are, where we have, the wagons being circled because they feel that they're under attack. They're secular progressive movement, and they don't like the fact that the people are actually starting to say, wait a minute, this is America, and we have our set of values, and we're willing to stand up for them. And when people like me represent that kind of voice, boy, are they getting concerned.
One of the worst, most vicious, racist attacks was made by this woman. When I first saw it, I was really angry. And then I started thinking about this. My anger is justified. If anybody ever said that about Barack Obama, don't you think there would be widespread coverage of that and that there would be condemnation from all corners of people that judge people by the content of their character?
Of course.
And there's been utter silence. Is there a double standard?
There's an incredible double standard. And again, I'm encouraged by the fact that there are a lot of good people out there who actually are seeing what's going on. And, you know, the more they come along with these silly stories, you know, they expect this. They said that's what they're going to do. And, of course, they will continue.
It rolls off you like water off a duck's
Every day, every week, you know, they're just digging every place they can. We got to find something on this guy.
Let me ask you one last thing. And you know what? You just hit on an important point. Yeah. If your poll numbers weren't high,
right,
you wouldn't be attacked the way you're being attacked. I noticed the National Enquirer went after you. I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
A lot of my family has been in medicine. Brother-in-law that's a doctor. My godchild's a doctor. My 3 sisters were nurses. There's a lot of medical talk. Sure. I was the disappointment. I became a talk show host. And so I know a lot about medicine. You performed how many surgeries over the course of how many years?
15,000 operations over 36 years.
And how many more, thousands more, that you probably were brought in to consult on?
Correct.
And of the surgeries you did, you were the top in your field, one of the tops in your field. You did the most difficult surgeries many times, right?
Very, very complex surgeries.
Very complex surgeries. And of all of those surgeries, I noticed the National Enquirer pointed out that you, like every other doctor, had malpractice cases brought against you. I think they found a total of 6. 6 out of, you know, tens and tens of thousands consulting and operations. That, to me, is a miracle.
It is, to be honest. It is pretty astonishing, and some of those cases never went anywhere.
Right.
And one of the cases, the lead case in that article, you know, they've been threatening for years. They say, somehow you guys have got to pay us money, or we're going to the media and we're going to ruin your career. You know, what a bunch of crap. I don't bother with that stuff.
Yeah. When you consider the absolute degree of skill and the level of difficulty, we are talking about the hardest, most complicated types of surgery. Right. And when you do 15,000 and consult on thousands or more, and how many lives do you think you probably saved over the course of your career?
Many thousands, yes.
Maybe the National Enquirer can go out and interview the people whose lives you saved.
No, they wouldn't be interested in that.
No interest in that. All right. Dr. Carson, congrats on your book is at the top of Amazon, I noticed. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.